Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLES. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Philadelphia, EAGLES. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL offseason, especially the Philadelphia Eagles, you know that the team is always in a constant state of flux, trying to put together that perfect roster that can carry them all the way to Super Bowl glory. And this year, it's no different. General Manager Howie Roseman has been on a mission, working tirelessly behind the scenes, maneuvering through the drafts, free agency, and the ever-complicated process of building a team that can compete at the highest level. You see, the Eagles, just like any other contender, have some clear strengths, but also some areas that need improvement, especially when it comes to certain position groups that could determine their success or failure in the upcoming season. So let's talk about what's on everyone's mind, those question marks that hover over the roster as we head into 2025. Two position groups, in particular, seem to be raising eyebrows among fans and analysts alike: the edge rusher position and the safety position. Now, the projected starters at edge rusher, Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith Jr., are expected to be solid contributors. They've shown flashes of brilliance, and if they can stay healthy and develop further, they could be key players in the Eagles' pass rush. But the real concern is what happens when we look beyond these starters. The depth behind them is a bit uncertain, and that's something that can come back to haunt the team if injuries strike or if those backups don't step up. When it comes to safeties, the situation is even more delicate. Reed Blankenship, without a doubt, is the player fans can rely on. He's proven himself, showing a good sense of coverage and playmaking ability. But beyond him, things get murky. Sidney Brown is a bit of a question mark, as he hasn't seen many snaps under the new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio's scheme, which is known for its complexity and demands. That's not necessarily a knock on Brown. Sometimes young players need time to adjust, but it does raise some eyebrows about how quickly he'll be able to contribute in a meaningful way. And then there's the rookie second-round pick, Andrew Mukuba, who suffered an injury last week during practice. His recovery timeline is still uncertain, and that adds another layer of complexity to the Eagles' safety depth chart. Now, the Eagles aren't sitting still. No, they've been busy, especially last Wednesday night, making some significant moves to bolster their secondary. One of the most talked about moves was bringing back Marcus Epps, a familiar face and someone who's shown he can be a reliable contributor in the past. But Epps is coming off an ACL injury from last year, so fans are wondering, will he be the same player? Can he regain his form quickly enough? That's the big question. Roseman has openly stated that he isn't done adding players to the roster. He's still exploring options, still trying to find that perfect piece or those perfect pieces that can make this secondary into a real strength. And here's where things get really interesting. There's one potential addition that has fans buzzing, someone who could help the Eagles build for the future, while also providing some immediate help. Yes, I'm talking about the possibility of adding a player like Sanders to the secondary. Now, before you go off the rails with ideas of him being a superstar or a game changer, let's be clear, he's a developmental player. He's not going to be a starter right away. But what makes him intriguing is his physicality, his ball-hawking ability, and his potential to grow within the system. Sanders was signed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after going undrafted this year, and while he's still raw, he did make 4 tackles in the preseason. His most notable moment, unfortunately, was not a good one. He was ejected from the final preseason game against the Bills for throwing a punch. That kind of incident can raise red flags, but it's also something that can be addressed with coaching and experience. He was released from Tampa Bay shortly after that incident, but that doesn't mean he's a lost cause. The Eagles are known for their development skills, and Sanders, with his physicality and instinct for the ball, could be a valuable piece to develop over the next year. Sure, he's not a perfect player, far from it, but in a team that needs to develop young talent and add depth, especially in the secondary, he could be the kind of project that pays off. And let's not forget, he's still just 23 years old, so there's plenty of room for growth. Now the big question is, will Sanders make the 53-man roster? Probably not this year, at least not as a starter. But as a practice squad player, he can learn, develop, and be ready to step in when needed. And who knows? With a year of coaching and experience, he might even surprise us and become a legitimate rotational player or even push for a starting role in the future. That's the beauty of building through young, raw talent. Sometimes, patience pays off and players develop into key contributors. Meanwhile, the other big story is what's happening with the rookies and the young players already on the roster. Mukuba, for example, has shown a lot of promise. His instincts and coverage skills suggest he could be a real asset once he's fully recovered and gets more reps. But the Eagles need to have a reliable backup for him, someone who can step in if necessary. And that's where Sanders fits into the puzzle. His physicality, his ability to play close to the line of scrimmage, and his aggressiveness make him a potential fit for that backup role while also offering some long-term upside. Of course, fans are always curious about how the team will shape up for the season. The NFC East is fierce, with teams like the Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and Washington Commanders all vying for supremacy. The Eagles, having won the division last year, are determined to repeat and go even further. That means every position, every player, every move counts. The team's front office, led by Howie Roseman, is well aware of this, and they're making moves to ensure that this roster is as competitive as possible. The secondary is a prime focus because, in today's NFL, a strong pass defense can be the difference maker in close games, especially in the playoffs. And let's not forget, the Eagles have a talented core of players, including Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith Jr., who are expected to be key contributors on the edge. But depth is always a concern, and that's why the team is exploring all options. They're looking for players who can not only fill gaps now, but also develop into future stars. The NFL is a league where injuries happen, and having versatile, reliable backups can be the difference between a deep playoff run and an early. So, as we look ahead to the upcoming season, there's a buzz of anticipation around the Eagles' roster construction. Will they bolster the secondary enough to make a real difference? Will the rookies and young players step up and surprise everyone? And what about those late signings? Are they just depth pieces, or could they be the missing link that propels this team to new heights? Fans are eager to see how it all unfolds, and rightly so. The Eagles have a rich history of building strong teams, of developing players and turning them into stars, and this year looks to be no different. The path to another Super Bowl is always full of challenges, but with the right moves, the right players, and a little bit of luck, the Eagles can definitely position themselves as serious contenders once again. Now, I want to highlight one more thing. This roster construction isn't just about filling spots. It's about building a team that can withstand the rigors of a long NFL season, especially in a division where every game counts, and every play can be the difference between victory and defeat. The Eagles are acutely aware of this, and that's why even the smallest signings or roster tweaks are met with so much scrutiny and excitement. They're constantly looking for that edge, that advantage that can push them over the top. And in the end, that's what makes following the Eagles so exciting. It's a team with a rich history, a passionate fan base, and a front office that's always looking ahead, planning for the future while trying to win now. Whether it's the potential addition of players like Sanders or the development of young talent like Mukuba, every move is a part of that bigger picture, that quest for another Super Bowl title. So, Eagles fans, stay tuned, because the offseason isn't over yet, and the best is yet to come. The team is shaping up to be even more competitive, and with each step they're building something special. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Philadelphia Eagles news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these roster moves and the potential of adding Sanders? Do you think he's got what it takes to develop into a valuable piece? Are you confident in the current safety situation, or do you think the team still needs to make more moves? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news. Thanks for sticking with me, and as always, go Birds!